Annamalai Swami. Fire is a very significant symbol. Its nature is twofold. As heat, it can destroy, and as light, it reveals. Bhagavan is the Jnana Agni, the fire of jnana. He destroys our destiny and reveals the light of wisdom that is already there in each one of us. This twofold operation of His grace can be most vividly seen in the life of this remarkable devotee. His name was Chela Perumal. When he was born, his father had his horoscope prepared. It predicted that Chela Perumal would become an ascetic, a sadhu, and that he would not lead a family life. His father wanted to prevent it. So he did not send Chela Perumal to school, thinking that if he studied, he might chance upon some spiritual text which would influence him to become an ascetic. Being a farmer, he started taking his son to his paddy fields, always keeping him by his side with this one pointed aim, that he should not study anything. But Chela Perumal's keenness in learning was so intense that he taught himself how to read a full word through slowly reading every alphabet in that word. Throughout his life, he had this gift of perseverance, not interrupted by failure. One day, while going with his father, Chela Perumal noticed a few sadhus dressed in ochre robes. He was so fascinated that he visited one of them on the sly and started studying spiritual books. There was also a lady in the neighboring village whose piety drew him. This lady took him to her house and gave Tamil books on Advaita, like the Kavalya Navanitham. As she could not read, she asked Chela Perumal to read and explain these texts. When he started reading them, though he had no prior knowledge of any Vedanta, some power from inside made him understand and explain everything, albeit in a childish way. Soon, at a particular time every day, he would run away from home without his father's knowledge to this lady's house, read a particular spiritual text, and then explain it. His spiritual talks started attracting the woman's neighbors. In a matter of a few months, his talks had become so popular that the pious woman invited him to stay in her house. The next 6 years, he was away from his father, and it was a golden period for Chela Perumal. He started wearing sacred ash and rudraksha beads, prostrating before pictures of deities, and meticulously following traditional religious practices. One day, when he was giving a spiritual talk, his father came stealthily in. He was stunned on seeing his son's transformation, but he still did not encourage him. Despite that, Chela Perumal was determined to become an ascetic. Though only a teenager, he took sannyas. And because traditional people would not initiate him into sannyas, he did it himself. When he came back to the village, some of the villagers, noticing his greatness, started helping him. Inspired by the late and famous saint Ramalinga Swamigal, who taught that one should serve humanity, he started giving water from an earthen pot to travelers in summer. Soon he was distributing gruel to the poor from a small hut that the villagers helped him build. However, though his mind was bent on helping others, he continued his religious practices. One day he came to know that the Shankaracharya of the Kanchi Muth was coming to a neighboring village. When he went to meet him, the Shankaracharya told him, "Come to the next village, I will meet you." He went and met the Shankaracharya there and begged for spiritual guidance. The Shankaracharya gave him the mantra Shivaya Namaha and asked him to chant it 100,000 times. Soon after this, a wandering sadhu gave him Bhagavan's book, the Upadisa Undiyar, the 30 verses of instruction in Tamil. On seeing the photograph of Bhagavan in it, he was certain that this was his guru. He knew nothing about Ramana Maharshi, nor could he understand the Upadisa Undiyar, but he felt that this was his guru. So he went around the village proclaiming, "I have found my guru, and he is in Tiruvannamalai. I have to go to him." The villagers, knowing that he was a sadhu with no money, gave him some money for his journey to Tiruvannamalai. Just when he was to leave, he came to know that the Kanchi Shankaracharya was once again camping in a neighboring village. By this time, Chela Perumal knew that this was the same Shankaracharya who had sent Paul Brunton to Ramana Maharshi. He went to the Shankaracharya, prostrated, and requested him, "Please bless me. I am going to Ramana Maharshi." The Shankaracharya gave him sacred ash, 11 silver coins, and blessed him, saying, "You are going on a good errand. Go." Thus, in 1928, at the age of 21, Chela Perumal came to Tiruvannamalai. On his way to Ramanasramam, he saw a big crowd around a small mandap. He asked someone the reason for the crowd. The man answered, "The Siddha Purusha, Seshadri Swami, is inside the mandap. The crowd is waiting for him to come out and give them his blessing. You can also go see him and receive his blessing." Chela Perumal, peeping through the crowd, saw Seshadri Swami inside with a laddu, an Indian sweet, in his hand. The crowd, because of the awe and respect it had for the Swami, was afraid to go inside. Chela Perumal, not having any previous knowledge of the Swami's reputation, went in and prostrated. The Seshadri Swami took the laddu near his mouth and then threw it at the crowd, all of whom took it as prasad. Then, turning to Chela Perumal, he started abusing him. "You fool! Why have you come to Arunachala? Why have you come to Tiruvannamalai? What is there here for you to come?" Shocked at this outburst, Chela Perumal beat a hasty retreat. Fortunately for him, a sadhu standing outside stopped him and reassured him, saying, "Seshadri Swami is a Siddha Purusha who blesses through abuses. When he says, 'You fool, why have you come to Arunachala?' it means, what a great person that you are to have come to Arunachala. And when he says, 'What purpose have you come here for?' this means that whatever purpose you have come here for will be fulfilled." Reassured by this abusive blessing, Chela Perumal, the future Annamalai Swami, came to Ramana Ashramam.